like your experience has brought you to your purpose in life, your greatness in life. You know, sometimes we feel and sometimes we think that we have this route to go to as far as our purpose, but then the Most High has a greater purpose for us, you know, a higher cause. And I know it's painful for us to have to endure, you know, a lot of the hardships, but because you endured so much, your experience is going to encourage others that are in your situation to have hope. Because if someone
Absolutely.
doesn't go through anything, it's like people that have been through the struggle, they can't relate. But when you've gone through as much as you've gone through, you're going to be strengthening a lot of men and women around the globe. And you're going to let them, your experience is going to let them know that, hey, you know, this is not the end of the road for me. You know, there is help out here. There are people that want to change the laws that are really, it's like, how did this happen? It's
So
like, it's like it was happening while we were awake, but unknowingly underground behind the scenes for them to make the laws so harsh.
absolutely. So, I really think that, this did happen for a reason. Somebody has to experience it for themselves to really know how messed up the system is. And I never knew this was going on because, most of the people around me were going in the state system, and the state system is, more reasonable. The federal system is completely out of whack. And so, I actually had the opportunity to go on a panel with my prosecutor, the man who actually sent me away for 55 years. And one of the things that was asked was, if I could go back in time, would I have would I have not gotten in trouble, or would I have taken the prosecutor's plea offer? Because they offered me a plea of 15 years, which was still unjust. You can't justify 15 years for $900 worth of marijuana. And so, and my answer was no to both of them. No, I wouldn't have accepted the plea offer, because had I accepted the plea offer, I would have went to prison and just remained a statistic. No one would have been like, okay, this system's jacked. Getting a 55-year sentence opened a lot of people's eyes. And so, my judge, who was tough on crime before that, he was a supporter of ending Miranda rights. He was a really tough on crime conservative judge. And so, going through what I went through opened up the eyes of a lot of conservatives because of what my judge, felt, how he felt about the sentence. And the other thing I said no to was, would I have, done everything differently? And the same answer was no, because even though I had a career that was, I had a multi-million-dollar deal, but I feel like, this actually brought meaning to my life. I could have been a successful music producer and maybe, went on to do something else, and that was it. But this has given me the opportunity to make lasting change and to make history. The First Step Act that, was changed in part because of my case, wouldn't have happened, were it not for what happened to me. And so because of the First Step Act, 16,000 people have been released early. And some of those individuals' lives were saved because they were released early as a result of the COVID pandemic. And they would not have had the judge would not have had the power to release them had it not been for the First Step Act. So, a part of me said, I would do the same thing just for all the good that came out of all the suffering that me and my family went through.